What's up, y'all? I'm Deidra, and this is Now That's What I Call Black Love. Today I'm coming at y'all with a spoiler-free and brief review of Eric Jerome Dickey's Friends and Lovers. I'm going to read to you the synopsis. When Deborah meets Leonard, she has just gotten off the sex before marriage merry-go-round. Leonard, a successful comedian, isn't laughing when he confronts that crucial moment in every man's life when he has to decide whether he's ready for the love of a good woman. Deborah's best girlfriend, Shelby, a flight attendant, keeps getting her ticket punched by brothers who don't have a clue when it comes to women. Then she meets Leonard's best friend, Tyrell. The attraction is instant, and so are the consequences, as Shelby faces a choice that could turn her whole life around. Friends and Lovers is an irresistible, sexy, and soulful tale of friendship and the search for lasting love. So I wanted to review this on this channel in particular because I know that there is some debate as to whether or not Eric Jerome Dickey is or was a romance writer. And I cannot speak for all the books of his that I've read already or the ones that I have on my shelf. Because after reading this, I can understand where that debate comes from. But I can say with confidence that this one is indeed a romance with a happily ever after, or a happy for now is what this one ends with. I don't think that's a spoiler to say, but it's a happy for now. Between Lovers, I plan to read this one next. I don't remember. I just remember the cover, if I'm being honest with y'all. I just remember the cover. So I don't know how this one ends, but, or if I would consider this a rom-com or a romance or what, but we will find out. So stay tuned if you want to know my feelings on this one in another video. Same for Liar's Game. I'm not sure what this one will end up being, if it'll be a rom-com or a straight up romance. But again, I'm going to try to read the two of these. I'm going to try to read these two pretty soon here and review them in the same video and then circle back to the one we're going to talk about today. Friends and Lovers by Eric Jerome Dickey was copyrighted in 1997 and first printing was in 1998, and it is registered with the Penguin Group, or Penguin Publishing. Sorry if the angle changed. I wanted to take a thumbnail pic before I got too far and I forgot. Really enjoyed my experience rereading this. I believe that I might have been a teenager the first time I read it, and so let's get into what I liked, and I'm not going to give you any of the plot outside of the synopsis I've already read for you, but I'm going to give you some things I liked and maybe some things that, if you didn't read my Goodreads review, want to make you aware of. So like I've already read the synopsis, the premise is basically two sets of friends who sort of are at different places in their lives, and they meet kind of at a random, in a random situation, and they start figuring out what they want to do as far as figuring out this love thing, basically. So the two girlfriends are Deborah and Shelby. And I liked both of their characters. I felt like they were, drop the book. I felt like they were very well fleshed out and very well, they felt very realistic. They both had distinct personalities and voices. I will say though that I did enjoy Deborah's personality a little bit more than Shelby's. Shelby made some choices that I just did not understand. She she lied in situations where I didn't feel like she needed to lie, and she just was, she wasn't my favorite of the two. And I didn't dislike her, I just liked Deidra a little bit more. Deidra was more relatable for me, or maybe it was more like I felt like I could be friends a little bit more readily with Deidra than I could with Shelby. But I liked both of them. Deidra is it doesn't say here, but Shelby is a flight attendant, and then Deidra is either a gynecologist or a nurse practitioner who works in an OBGYN clinic. And some of that comes to play with just advice that she gives her friends around her, as well as part of the story. So then Tyrell and Leonard are the two male main characters. I cannot really say, I feel like Dickey tries to make it even page time or screen time, however you want to put it, but I did feel like of the two couples that came about, the one with Tyrell and the one with Tyrell in it, I won't tell you who he gets with. Well, it says it on the synopsis. Tyrell and Shelby, to me, end up being the main focus in the first half of the book, and then Leonard and Deborah's relationship progression is more focused on in the second half of the book. I did zoom in a little bit just because I'm sorry about the angle change, but another thing that I really liked about this book was how I felt like I was seeing the setting that the story took place. It was set mostly in Los Angeles, California, and Hollywood, and the hills of Hollywood, the Hollywood Hills, if you will. And though I've never been to Los Angeles, I really did feel like I had been to Los Angeles through the lens of these characters. And I feel like I could go and see the things that they saw and be like, oh, I remember Deborah talking about that in Friends and Lovers and something like that. So I really enjoyed that, and how Dickey was able to make it like the setting, not necessarily a character of its own, but really made the setting of Los Angeles, California come to life. One of the things I did not care for in this book is something that I already talked about, but it's the main thing that I didn't like, so I do want to take a minute and talk about it on its own. It's the antiquated language that Dickey uses. He uses some ways of describing people, even black people, that I just did not, I cringed, and I was like, ooh, sir, like, I know it's 1997, but even for 1997, it felt a little outdated, if I'm being completely honest. But I did like how Shelby and Tyrell kind of went back and forth with each other, their little inside jokes, their little jabs at each other, their affectionate and intimate pillow talk scenes. The same for Deborah and Leonard. Leonard is a comedian. You get to sort of see the making of his career, and his jokes and his stand-up in this book, you do get to see him on the stage a few times, was on point. You get to see what it's like behind the scenes, or backstage I should say, on some of his shows and some of the nightclubs in LA, and you get to see what it's like to see a star rising, and what it's like to be in a relationship with the rising star, and then what happens, what happens when they do reach the level that they want to reach, and what it's like to live there. So I really enjoyed that, and I can say with confidence that Leonard, who's the comedian, like I just said, he did not do any offensive jokes on stage, and so we get a quarter of a point back for not falling into that trap. But yeah, so Friends and Lovers by Eric Jerome Dickey. I really gave it, I gave it 4 stars. I took off a star for the language, for the outdated language, for the antiquated language. I would highly recommend though that if you do decide to pick this one up in particular, that you go into it knowing that the language doesn't age well, and that this is one of Dickey's first works, and it's not his very first, it's not his debut novel, but it is one of his first works. So he does get better, he does improve, that if I'm remembering correctly. And so if you are not in love with this one, then I would definitely try one of his latest works. He had one come out, even though he's passed away, hope he's resting in peace. He did have a book come out in, I want to say either February or March of this year, which is 2021. So yes, this is my first review. I think this is my first spoiler-free review, and I will be coming at y'all on the 13th, which is on Tuesday, and letting y'all know what to expect for our next live show, because me and Ashley still need to get it together and figure out exactly what we're going to do, since the 13th falls on a weekday this month, and I don't think that we're going to be able to have a live show on a weekday just because we both work. But yeah, so Friends and Lovers, Eric Jerome Dickey, one of my faves, love it. So if you enjoy our content, if you enjoy hearing about Black love and Black romance, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when we put up new videos. We're trying to put out a new video once a week. I am behind, but the next video will be definitely on the 13th, and it will be the part 2 about publishing, and then you'll have information about the live that will be coming up soon. Thank y'all for watching. Wear your sunscreen.